So, hello everyone, welcome back to the part 2 of the video. So, what we did in the part 1 was we were looking at the IPM paper for the year 2020, right? In part 1, we had discussed the short answer type questions, which were 10 in number. So, in 2020, again, just to bring you up to scratch, there were 30 questions that were asked in the math section. 10 questions were the short answer types, which were to be attempted in about 40 minutes, and 20 questions for QA were MCQ type, which were to be attempted again in 40 minutes. The eventual cutoff for these questions or for these sections was around net of 7 to 8 questions correct in each of the sections individually, right? In the previous video, I talked about these 10 questions and the 7 questions that you would want to attempt to ensure that you get the cutoff. In this video, we'll be looking at the 20 MCQ questions. So that is the intent. Again, the idea is to not solve all the questions, but to look at the top probability questions that you should attempt, and also probably the difference between attempting a question otherwise and what to do in the examination, right? So trying to save time as much as possible. Again, since it's a timed video, you would know how many questions we were able to attempt in the 40 minutes. So with that, I start. So first question says, the probability that a randomly chosen factor of 10 raised to power 19. Now, how many factors does 10 raised to power 19 have? 10 raised to power 19 is 2 raised to power 19 into 5 raised to power 19. The formula for number of factors is straightforward. I just multiply. I add 1 to each power of the prime number and multiply. So 19 plus 1 into 19 plus 1. Please understand, in the exam I will not be writing this, and therefore obviously I'll be able to save some time. This is 19 plus 1 and therefore 400. Right? Now, if I am looking for numbers, factors of 10 raised to power 19, these are multiples of 10 raised to power 15. To find multiples of 10 raised to power 15, I take that outside. I take that out from 10 raised to power 19, and therefore I'm left with 10 raised to power 4, which is nothing but 10 raised to power 15 into 2 raised to power 4 into 5 raised to power 4. The number of factors that I get from here will be 4 plus 1, 5 into 4 plus 1, 5, which is 25. In each of these factors, 10 raised to power 15 gets multiplied, and therefore each number is a multiple of 10 raised to power 15. Therefore, the favorable cases are these 25 cases out of a total of 100 cases. If I divide, I get 1 by 16. So as long as I know the formula, I will be able to solve the question. The next question then says, the number of acute angled triangles whose sides are 3 consecutive positive integers and whose perimeter is at most 100. So the perimeter has to be less than equal to 100, and the sides have to be a plus 1 and b plus 1, right? Also a plus 1 and a plus 2, and also I want triangles which are acute angled triangles. Now for acute angled triangles, I know that a square plus b square has to be greater than c square. So I start with taking the value of a as 1. 1 square plus 2 square compared with 3 square is less than, or also 1, 2, 3 will not be a triangle because the sum of two sides has to be greater than the third side. 2 square plus 3 square, 4 and 9, 13 again is less than 4 square. So this will be an obtuse angle triangle. 3 square plus 4 square we know is equal to 5 square. So this will be a right angle triangle, and after this, that is starting from 4 square, you see that 4 square plus 5 square is greater than 6 square. 5 square plus 6 square consecutive numbers will be greater than 7 square, and so on, right? Also, because the perimeter has to be at most 100, so if I'm looking at 3 sides that are consecutive numbers which add up to less than equal to 100, I divide this by 3, becomes 33. So if I look at 32 plus 33 plus 34, this will be 99. If I look at the next number, 33 plus 34 plus 35, the total will exceed the previous total by 3 and become 102. And therefore the largest sides that are possible, consecutive numbers, would be 32, 33 and 34. So all sides for which the smallest side starts from 4, goes up to 32, will satisfy all the conditions given in the question, and therefore numbers from 4 to 32, which is 32 minus 4 plus 1, including both numbers, and therefore 28 becomes the answer for question number 12. Again, as far as the exam is concerned, should I have attempted question 11? Yes, if I know the formula. If I don't, I will not be able to do it. Question 12, again, I would consider it to be a risky question in the sense that there is always a chance that you might end up taking 3 4 5 or 2 3 4 as one of the values and making a mistake, because there are 3 different constraints. There is a chance you might miss it under pressure, and therefore again, we've solved the questions, may not be the best questions to be attempted in the paper. Question 13 then says, the equation of a straight line passing through point M such that the portion of it between the axes divided by the point M. So the point M is minus 5 and 4 would lie somewhere here. So I need a line which passes through this point, something like this, assuming that this is one line and this the M is the point here. This point M has to divide this line into 2 equal parts. Right? I can go ahead and solve it, but what I'll do is just start putting the values for M, the point, in the equations of the line, because since M is a point on the line, it has to satisfy these equations as well. So if I put 10 as y is 4, I'll get 10 into 4 minus 8 into minus 5, which comes out to 80. So this satisfies the equation. If I put y as 4, 8 into 4 would be 32. Again, I am very sure that this equation will not get satisfied because the last digit will not be 0. Similarly here, 10 into 4 plus 8 into minus 5, this should add up to 0, so not satisfying the equation. In the last one, 8 into 4, 32 plus 10 into minus 5, minus 50. Again, the last number will not be 0, not satisfying the equation. And that is it for my answer, because there is only one equation that actually passes through M. There is only one equation of the line that passes through M, and therefore A becomes the answer. Of course, what I could have done was I could have looked at these points. If the coordinates here are x1, y1 and the coordinates here are x2, y2 and 5, 4 is the midpoint, I would say x1 plus x2 upon 2 is equal to 5. And as you can see here, x1 will be 0. So you'll get the value of x2 as, minus 5. You'll get the value as minus 10. Similarly, y1 plus y2 upon 2 has to be equal to 4. Because y2 here will be 0, the point lies on the x-axis, I'll get y1 is 8. Now, since I have 2 points, 5, minus 5, 4, or rather if I have 2 points, minus 10, 0 and 0, 8, a line passing through these points, I can form the equation. But my point is, just put these values of M in the equation and you'll get the answer, because only one satisfies the given points. The 13th question probably is a question that should have been attempted. Question 14 then says cos square. Okay, we know that pi and 7 pi by 8 are related, in the sense that cos square pi by 8 is nothing but cos square pi minus 7 pi by 8. Similarly, cos square 3 pi by 8 is pi minus 3 pi by 8, 5 pi by 8. So this becomes, since I am looking at an angle in the second quadrant, cos in the second quadrant is negative. So this becomes minus cos 7 pi by 8 square. This becomes minus cos 5 pi by 8 square. And therefore cos square 7 pi by 8 plus cos square 5 pi by 8. The negative sign is eliminated because of the square. This cos square 7, sin pi by 2 पे करेंगे ना, pi से minus करो 7 pi by 2. I wanted to get a sine square so that I can add them and get a 1. Okay, so this is not happening. This is the problem with someone who does not know higher maths. If I try to write it as pi by 2, 7 pi by 8 plus pi by 8 is pi. Pi minus pi by 8. Okay, I'll leave this question for now and try to come back to it, because clearly I'm not able to solve it. Next, question 15 then. 1 upon 1 square plus 1 upon 2 square plus 1 upon 3 square up to infinity is pi square by 6. We have to find the value of the odd squares. Okay, now 1 upon 2 square, if I just look at the even numbers from here, and so on, I take 2 square common from all of these terms. and therefore 2 square is 1 by 4. I'll end up with something like this. If I take a 2 common from each of the number, and therefore 2 square from each of the terms, this will be a 4 square, this will be a 5 square, right? And so on up to infinity. We know that the value of this is pi square by 6. So the sum of even terms becomes 1 by 4 into pi square by 6. Now if I look at the odd terms, or basically if I subtract these terms from here, the sum of the positive terms from the sum of all the terms, I will get the odd terms, and therefore that will be nothing but pi square by 6 all the terms minus 1 by 4 pi square by 6, which is the sum of the even terms. So this becomes 3 by 4, 1 minus 1 by 4 into pi square by 6. 3 2s are, and therefore the answer becomes pi square by 8. Probably a question that should have been attempted, because if you attempted algebra, there is a very good chance that you would have done something similar where, for example, if you done binomial, when you try to add the NC0s plus NC1s plus NC2s, from there you try to find out the sum of the odd and the even terms, you do something similar, right? 16 then, a man is known to speak the truth on an average 4 out of 5 times. He throws a die and he reports it as a 5. The probability that is actually a 5, I think the answer here should be 4 by 5, for the simple reason that he speaks the truth 4 out of 5 times, and since he's saying it is a 5, we want to know what is the probability that it is a 5. It will happen when he's saying the truth, and therefore 4 out of 5 times this will happen. If I'm trying to solve this question, I would probably get something like the probability that it is a 5, or the when will he call it a 5? He will call it a 5 when it is a 5 and he is saying the truth. So this happens 1 by 6 for getting a 5. Truth is 4 out of 5 times. So 4 upon 30. And when will he say a 5 when it is not a 5? So it is not a 5 and he is lying. That happens 5 by 6 times for a dice. Lying happens 1 by 5 times. Therefore 5 upon 30. Right? Now, if I have to find out the probability that it is actually a 5 and he's saying this, so actually a 5 becomes 4 by 30 upon 4 by 30 plus 5 by 30, the fact that he says a 5. And therefore 4 by 9 should be the answer. Okay, I made a mistake here. The probability is actually a 5 and he calls it a 5 is 4 by 30, divided by the probability that he calls it a 5 is, or he reports a 5 is when it is a 5 and he's saying the truth, or when it is not a 5 and he's lying. Yeah, so the answer will be 4 by 9. Fair enough. Again, not a question that I would have attempted because probability. This I think is a straightforward question, because if it is given to me that log of something to the base 5 is 0, expression has to come here. This expression has to be 1, because we know that log of 1 is 0, and therefore log of x square minus 1 to the base 8 should be equal to 1. So if this 1 comes here, I'll get the final answer is 0. And if log of x square minus 1 to the base 8 is 11, I can very well say that x square minus 1 has to be 8, which means x square has to be 9 or x will be 3. This definitely is a question that should be attempted. Question 18 says, which of the following statements are correct? Okay. So when x is x lies between 0 and 1, suppose I'm taking the value of x is half here. If I put the values here, I'll get 1 upon 1 plus 1 by 2 being less than 1 minus 1 by 2 plus 1 by 2 square, right? Which means this becomes 1 plus 3 by 2, so 2 by 3 being less than 1 minus half or minus half plus 1 by 4. As you can see, this is minus half, this will be half, this will be 1 by 4, so 2 by 3 being less than 0.5, 0.25, 0.75, 3 by 4. So this is true. Since it is true, therefore 1 has to be true. Since 1 is true, option B and option D are eliminated. Also, if I look at option A and option C, you see that A says 1 and 2 are correct, whereas C says 1 and 4 are correct. Since option 1 is correct, option 2 cannot be correct. They are the same things. I think this should be a greater than sign here and a greater than sign here. This was the question, if I remember correctly, right? So if this happens, clearly these two can simultaneously not be true, and therefore 1 and 4 become the correct options, assuming that these are the 4 options. Otherwise all the options are reading the same, and therefore this and the two signs here should be greater than, and 1 and 4 become correct. So all I've done is I've checked for a value of x for option 1. Since it is true, option 2, which is exact opposite of it, becomes false, and therefore I cancel out of all the options which do not have a 1 or have a 2, and therefore I'm left with 1 and 4, right? That is a valid solution for me to work with. Next, 50 liters of a mixture of milk and water contain 30% water. So 30% out of 50, which is 15. This mixture is added to 80 liters of milk and water with 20% water. So 20% of 80, which is 16. Therefore, I have a total of 130 liters having 31 liters of water. Alright, this is where I am. Now, how many liters of water should be added to the resulting mixture to obtain a final mixture that contains 25% water? 25% is 1 by 4, and I'm adding water. So if I add water, the total volume will become 130 plus x, if x liters of water is added, and the amount of water will become 31 plus x. 1/4 of this, the total volume, should be water, and therefore I solve for x, right? 32, 133. So if I solve this, I will get 130 plus x is equal to 124 plus 4x. 6x is equal to 6 is equal to 3x, x is equal to 2. So if I have 132 liters of a solution, 1/4 of that is 33, and therefore 2 liters of water needs to be added. Definitely a question that should have been attempted. Next says 3 workers working together need 1 hour to construct a wall. The first worker working alone can construct the wall twice as fast as the third worker. So if the first worker takes 2x hours, the second worker, twice as fast, will take half the time, that is x hours, and can complete the task an hour sooner than the second worker. The first worker working alone can construct the wall twice as fast as the third worker and can complete. Okay, so if the second worker takes x plus 1 hours, this will fall into place, because the first worker is the fastest and is constructing the wall twice as fast as the third worker. So the time for the third worker will be twice of the first worker, number 1, and the first worker can complete the task an hour sooner than the second worker. So if the first worker is taking x hours, the second one will take x plus 1. Together they are doing it in 1 hour, and therefore I get an equation which would read the amount of work done by the first in x hours upon the amount of work done in 1 hour by the second plus the amount of work done by the third in 1 hour should be equal to 1 upon 1. Actually, this is the time they will take to finish the work. So if I solve the equation, I will get a value for x. I can take x here, or so this becomes, I add these two terms first. So this becomes 3 upon 2x plus 1 upon x plus 1 is equal to 1. And therefore 3x plus 1 plus 2x is equal to 2x square plus 2x is equal to 1, which means 3x plus 3, which means 5x plus 3 is equal to 2x square plus 2x, which means 2x square minus 3x plus minus 3 is equal to 0. 24. And therefore the value of x will be 3 plus minus root of b square minus 4ac upon 2a. So 3 plus minus root of 9, this will become plus 24, 33 upon 4. Clearly 3 minus root of 33 would not happen because it will be a negative value. Therefore x has to be 3 plus root 33 upon 4. I have the value of x, therefore I can find out the value of x plus 1 and 2x, and then take the we have to find out the average in time. So the average of these values will simply be x plus 1 plus 2x upon 3, which is 4x plus 1 by 3. If I put the value of x as 3 plus root 3, I'll get the answer. And therefore, root 33, the other 4 into 3 plus root 33 upon 4 plus 1 upon 3. 4 and 4 gets cancelled. Therefore, root 33 plus 4 upon 3 becomes the answer. Not a question that you should look at in the examination for the simple reason that it has calculations, right? So if I look at the question that I've attempted so far, the questions that I would definitely attempt in the examination would be 11, 12 again, 13 definitely, 14 though I was not able to forget it, 15, so 11, 13, 15, 17, 18, 19. 11, 13, 15, 17, 19. So about 5 questions from the first 10. Then I move on to the next 10 questions. As in a class, the students are assigned roll numbers from 1 to 40. All students of even numbers opted for cricket. All those with roll numbers divisible by 5 opted for football. All those whose roll numbers are divisible by 3 opted for basketball. The number of students who did not opt for any of the 3 sports. So what I can do is cricketers become even numbers, therefore 70, multiples of 2. The ones who are playing football become multiples of 5, which will be 28, 140 upon 5. And the ones who are playing basketball becomes multiple of 3, become multiples of 3. And therefore 30, 120 and 6, 46, 120, 138. Right? Then I look at multiples of 2 and 3, then 5 and 3, then 5 and 2, and then I look at multiples of 2 and 3 and 5, and from there I can put in the formula for union. Or there is one method where I can directly try to find the answer, where I find the numbers less than 140 which are co-prime with 140, something like that. Because I'm looking for 2, 3 and 5, I'll say 140 into 1 minus 1 by 2. So this, what I'm doing is I'm removing every second number from 140, and therefore this product is what I'll have left. From that I remove all multiples of 5, and from there I remove all multiples of 3. If 2, 3 and 5 were factors of 140, this would have given me a direct answer in integers. From here I'll get a decimal answer from where I can solve. So this becomes 1 by 2, 4 by 5, 2 by 3, the 2 and 2 gets cancelled, and therefore 140 into 4 by 15, or actually 55, we can cancel out 5 as well here, 28, and therefore very roughly speaking 328, 9.3 into 4, so answer just above 36, 37, which would be 38. This would come out, I think, 37.33. 9 1/3, 9 4 by 3, 37.33, and therefore that rounded off to the next integer would be 38. Right? So again, this formula can be used. This formula can be used whenever you're looking for numbers which are co-prime with a given number. Okay, or you can just solve this. As far as the question is concerned, because the concept is not something that you would not have done, I would recommend you attempting this question in the paper. Whether you do this or this, definitely something that will give you marks. Okay. 22 then defines fx, defines g of y. We have to find the value of g of 3. Again, just put values and solve. So f of 3 will be 3 square plus log of 3 to the base 3. This will come out to 9 plus 110, and therefore g of 3 will be nothing but 2 into 3 plus f of 3. 2 into 3 will come out to 6. F of 3 we've already calculated as 10, and therefore 16. Definitely a question that should have been attempted. Barely takes a couple of minutes to solve, and it is done. Second is a 2 by 2 matrix is filled with 4 distinct integers randomly chosen from the sets 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Probability that the matrix generated is singular. So the singular matrix would look something like this. AD minus CB should be equal to 0. Right? So this is a singular matrix, AD minus CB. We have to the values that ADCB can take are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So the total possibilities are, since I need 4 numbers, I choose 4 out of 6. which can be done by in 6 upon 5 into 4, 2 into 1, which is 15 ways. Once these four numbers have been chosen, they can be allotted to A, B, C, D in 4 factorial ways. So the total possibilities are 15 into 4 factorial. Then I look at specific cases where it will be singular. For singular, since I have numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, what I cannot do is I cannot give a value of 5 to any one of A, B, C, D, because if one of the numbers becomes 5, it will be a multiple of 5. The second part cannot be a multiple of 5 because there is no other 5 involved here in these numbers, and therefore I'll have two cases. One where 3 into 4, 12, and 2 into 6, this happens, or 3 2s are 6 and 1 into 6, this happens. In how many ways can I allot A, B, C, D, these four numbers? A, B, C, D, C, B. A could be any one of the four numbers. So 4 cases here. Depending on what value A takes, suppose A takes a value of 2. There is one case possible for D. It has to be 6. And then C can take any one of the 2 remaining values. And in which case B has to have one value that is left. So the total number of ways would be 8. Similarly, here I'll get 8 solutions. So favorable cases become 8 plus 8, 16. Total cases are 15 upon 4 factorial, and therefore the answer becomes 16 upon 15 into 4 factorial. So this would be 16 is 8 into 2. 15, 4 factorial is 4 into 3 into 2 into 1. So the 4 2s are 8 gets cancelled, and therefore 2 upon 45 becomes the answer. Not something that you should look to do in the exam. 24. Ashok started a business with a certain investment. After a few months, Bharat joined him, investing half the amount of Ashok. So suppose the investment by Ashok was 2. Bharat invested 1 half of Ashok. At the end of the year, the total profit was divided. Okay. And in terms of time, Ashok was there for the entire year. We have to find the time for Bharat. We know that the profit will be divided in the ratio, in the proportion of investment into time, which is 24 for Ashok. We have to find this out for Bharat, but it is given to us that the profit was divided in the ratio 3:1. So if 24 becomes 3, 1 should have been 8. 3:1, so 24:8 would be 3:1. And if I need a 8 here where 1 is the investment, the time has to be 8. That means Bharat was invested for 8 months, and therefore he would have joined 4 months after the business had started. Question 24. Again, if you've done ratios, if you've done partnerships, this is a question that you would have attempted. So definitely a question for the exam. Next, the average marks of 6 students is 64. All the students got different marks. One of them obtained 70 and all the others scored 40 or above. The maximum possible difference between the second highest and the second lowest marks is. So first of all, I reduce the marks of the number of people that I have and take 2 people to have a high score. So the minimum possible scores would be 40 and above. 40, 41 and 42. So this takes care of 3 people. One of them has scored 70, and then I would have 2 people remaining, right? Now 64 people getting 6 people getting an average of 64 would mean a total of 6 6s are 36, 6 4s are 24. 384 marks, out of which 40, 41 and 42, that is 123 is done here, 70 is done here, so 193. Subtract 193 from 384, I am left with 191. I split 191 into 2 parts. So that those 2 people have the maximum marks. 190 upon 2 is 95. Therefore, the 2 highest marks possible are 95 and 96. Once this happens, I can look at the maximum possible difference between the second highest and the second lowest score. So 95 minus 41, which is 54. Since the lowest marks and the average had a difference of 24, therefore I put 3 cases here. Because the difference here will be minimum, therefore I can stretch the maximum score on this side, right? And therefore the maximum possible difference becomes 54. If I had taken this 42 and I had put that person in the higher bracket or more than the average, the overall marks for everyone would have reduced. So I would not have gotten the maximum difference. Again, this is a question that could be done, because even if this does not strike you, what you can always do is you can take the average of 64, look at the scores of two lowest people as 40, 41. One person is 70, and then find the score of the other three people higher than the average. You will see that the difference does not come out to be 54, and therefore probably a question that could have been attempted. Fine. With this, we reach the last 5 questions, which are direct DI questions. So if by this point you attempted, say, 6 or less than 6 questions and you have about 10 minutes left, definitely go for this set, because it's a set based on DI, you will end up getting the answers. So sure shot you can get 3-4 questions from here. Otherwise, if you think you've already attempted 10 odd questions, then probably that you will not have too much time left, and therefore you just want to go through this very quickly and try to find answers which do not require too much calculation. If I look at my attempt so far, if I look at my attempt so far, the number of questions that I've attempted are 11, 12 I'm not counting, 13, 14 I was not able to, 15, 16 I'm not counting, 17, 18, 19, 20 I'm not counting, 21, 22 definitely, 23 not counting, 24 definitely, 25. So by now I am sure of having attempted 10 odd questions, and therefore I think in a normal attempt this would have taken about 30 odd minutes, 25 to 30 minutes, because I'm speaking and writing, that takes a bit of time. So I would have about 8 to 10 minutes left for the last 5 questions, and therefore I would want to attempt all the questions from LRDA or DI section as well. But in any case, from these 5 questions also, our first attempt would be to avoid calculations and try to mark answers. If that is not possible, we'll try and calculate. Okay. So 26 says, if an investor had 36 lakh rupees to invest in any particular single stock, and he could buy the stock only on Monday, so he buys here only on Monday and sell it off on Friday, he sells here, okay, then the stock she should buy on Monday to earn maximum possible profit during the week. Maximum possible profit. So basically, the difference between the buy and sell should be maximum. The 4 options are Marico. Marico goes from 346 to 372. Actually, look at the percentage change, because the number of stocks will change. Marico HUL goes from 1933 to 1966. Again, here there is a difference of about 26 on 346. That will be just less than 10%, right? 346 at 10% would be 34. So less than 10%. For HUL, there is an increase of 33 on a base of about 2000. So that would be 1% would have been 20. So it's about less than 2%. So clearly HUL is less than Marico. Then is ITC. ITC goes from 238 to 253. 238 to sell on 253. So an increase about 15 on 23. 15 on 23 would be 230. 10% of 230 would be 23. So again, about 5%, 5 to 6%. Britannia goes from 3046 to 3140. Again, an increase of about 100 on a base of about 3000. So very roughly, this will also come out to about 3%. Clearly, Marico has the largest percentage increase, which was 26 upon 346. Roughly speaking, about 25 upon 350. And if I try to find the value of this, 25 upon 350 would be 4, 12, 13, 14, 100 upon 14, which is over 7%, right? And therefore Marico will see the highest percentage increase, and therefore the maximum amount of profit. Why maximum amount of profit? Because the number of shares will be larger for the share which is cheaper, and therefore if I look at profit percent increase, I will get the overall maximum profit for a given amount of sum. So 26 becomes A. Okay, now here probably I'll have to solve because this looks at exact values. If the investor plan to invest 36 lakh rupees in purchasing stocks of HUL on Monday, sell on Wednesday, and use the entire proceeds to purchase the stock of Britannia on same day and sell again on Friday. So basically HUL, I am buying on Monday, alright, then I am selling on Wednesday, sell on Wednesday. Then the entire proceeds are then taken to buy Britannia on the same day. So buy Britannia on the same day and sell them off again on Friday. Okay, Friday is here. Sell, buy, sell. एक गलती हो गई. This is the price that I will be looking at. Okay. So HUL bought on Monday, sold on Wednesday. Britannia bought on Wednesday, sold on Friday. We are looking at the return during the week. Again, calculation is involved. So the number of stocks of HUL that I will get are 36 lakh divided by 1933. The answers are also very close by. And then I'll sell them off for 1979. Can I look at profit percentage? Profit percentage in the first case and profit percentage in the second case. Okay, if I look at the profit percentage, the increase here is about 46 on 1933. Again, does not really help my cause. Anyways, the exact answer would have been 36 lakh upon 1933 number of HUL shares into 197 is the selling price. Then further divide this by 3115, the buying price for Britannia, and that multiplied by 3140, the selling price of Britannia. If I solve this, I will get the final value, and from there I can find out the percentage increase. I am not getting into the question because again, no point solving so much. If you have not attempted too many questions, you might get into it, but yeah. The difference between the quoted buy and sell price of a stock is referred to as the spread of the stock. Okay, the average spread of the stock is lowest on. Stocks is lowest on. Okay. The difference between quoted. Okay, so this difference is the spread. We have to find out the lowest average spread. Okay. So the options are there are, except Wednesday, all the options are there. So if I look at the overall difference, I'll be able to calculate the value, right? So the differences here are 2, 1, 2, 1 and 2. For Tuesday, the differences are 3, 1, 3, 1, 1. Clearly, this is 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. This is 3, 3, 6 and 9. The average accordingly will be smaller if the total is smaller. The difference here is 3, 3, 4. Again, at this point, this crosses 8, so no point checking Thursday. Friday, the difference is 1, 2, 3, 3, 6, 7, 8, 9. Crosses 8, and therefore the lowest spread, the lowest average spread will be on Monday. Almost no calculation involved. Certainly a question that should have been attempted. So out of 26 to 30, 26 I've attempted, 28 I would have attempted. The last two questions then left here. A brokerage firm charges 0.1% trading commission on the value of the shares bought or sold through its trading platform. If an investor bought 1,000 shares of Britannia on Tuesday, Britannia bought on Tuesday and sold them on Thursday, sold Britannia on Thursday, then the total brokerage fee will be. So if you're buying 1,000 stocks and 0.1% is being charged, the brokerage on this would be 1,000 stocks. Again, the number of stocks will remain same. So I do not have to look at the amount. Okay. So if the brokerage on 3,101 at 0.1% would be 0.1 upon 100 into 3101. So this will be 0.3 decimals. 3.101. This will be the commission per stock on Tuesday. The commission per stock on Thursday will similarly be 3.025. So the overall commission comes out to 6.126. Since there are 1,000 shares, multiply by 1,000, therefore option B becomes the answer. Again, not too much calculation involved. Question 30. If you had decided to save again 36 lakh rupees worth of ITC stocks on Monday, invest, so buy ITC on Monday, sell हो गया है, buy ITC on Monday, then the day of the week you should choose to sell the stocks to one maximum possible profit. I will sell when the price is highest, right? And the price is highest on Friday. Selling price. The selling price is highest on 238, 246, 221, 253. The selling price is highest on Friday, so the maximum profit can be had when the selling price is maximum, and therefore Friday. So out of the 4 questions in DI, I think question 30, question 29, question 28 and 26, again, if you're not able to approximate, don't get into calculations, but definitely 28, 29, 30 could have been attempted. So with that, I would be able to attempt about 13 to 14 questions definitely in 40 minutes. And as you see, I'm not trying to solve all questions as it is, or even sticking to a specific topic that I'm very comfortable with. When I come to DI, I look at 28, 29, 30. Before that, average is something I was good at, so I did that question. This is a straightforward application of ratios. I was not very sure with matrices, I left it. I'm not very comfortable with algebra, but the question was easy, therefore I attempted it. This again was a formula directly. Time and work is a topic that I typically try to attempt, but since here there were a lot of calculations which was visible from the options, I would have avoided the question in the exam, not even wasting time. Mixtures was a straightforward question. Again, I am not sure how to solve this. I am not at all, but putting values I can get the answer. Though it is a log question, I just had to find the value, definitely an attempt. Left the probability. Since I've done questions like this earlier, I attempted the question, have not been able to solve this so far. Again, not sure of lines and points, but just putting the values, I was able to get the answer for 13. 12 again would be something that I would not attempt. 11th, since I know the formula directly, I attempted the question, right? So ideally, an attempt of about 13 to 14 could have been made in 40 minutes. And again, this does not include any higher maths per se. Even if you've done arithmetic, DI, basics of number system, at least all the formulas there, and you're okay with the concept of algebra, you would be able to attempt about 12 questions, right? So even though IPM says that it has higher maths, at least matrices and determinants, I think getting the cutoff scores in the quant section is not very difficult, right? So I think that is all from my side. Thank you very much.